Hello, welcome to Mike's Variety Hour. So week number 3, glad you could join us tonight. And as always, each night on the Variety Hour is a special treat. For those who don't know me, my name is Mike, and I'm a volunteer producer at Comcast Public Access. And instead of being behind the camera producing your show, giving you the best quality presentation in Richmond, I'm in front of the camera. But tonight, as I was saying with the Variety Hour, we have a different mix of shows. We have entertainment, we have social political commentary, and we're going to highlight local people that are doing good in the community. So this evening we have a young lady who describes herself as an upcoming activist for the good of the people, in particular youth, veterans affairs, and just people who have been felt like they've been done wrong. So I'd like to introduce Miss Monica, and the title of this segment is going to be called Real Talk with Monica on Mike's Variety Hour. So I'd like to introduce Monica. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me here, Mike. It's been a privilege to be on Mike's Variety Show. I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm a local Richmonder that has always tried to help people out and to speak up, especially for the underprivileged and people that needs to have a voice, especially in our community. So like I said, is that tonight I did a short segment, a video of some local people and also some veterans, since we just had veterans that we celebrated. And I think a lot of times people don't think that the veterans, they only 1% of this population, but they serve 99% of this population. So you're going to hear 3 interviews separate. One is a Vietnamese named Kevin Duc Tran. He is a local businessman that has 2 nail salons, and he has always done good deeds within the community, and he also has done good deeds towards me. The second video you're going to see is a guy named Calvin Harris, a young African-American man that's 28 years old that wants to do good. He has a stable job, and he was raised by a single mother, but he had to turn around and be a father to his other 2 siblings as the oldest. But he's in school now, trying to be a dental hygienist. And the third one is Mr. James Ganther. He was a veteran that I met over the past weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Just recently in the news that his niece that got kidnapped in Philadelphia, she was the young lady, thank God she has been captured from this so-called accused rapist, serial rapist and abductor and kidnapping. And this man had talked to me candid as a veteran, 70 years old, fighting for his benefits of his entitlement. This man did 22 combat missions, shot 9 times, once in the head. He spent 3 years in the Salisbury, North Carolina hospital. This man touched me. And also you're gonna find a picture of my father, Lincoln, and he's an avid advocate of veterans at the Disabled American Veterans Chapter 17. He took a picture on Veterans Day. We was with a World War II veteran, and he's still kicking and going, and he's driving. And it's an inspiration for me to be here tonight, because just to give you a brief sum of me, is that I'm blessed to be here today. Not too long ago, September the 30th, 2010, I physically died 3 times from medication that was given to me wrong by a physician. I went through a medical-induced coma, was in a coma for 12 days. The priest came in, and he had given me my rights, and I had lost all my organs. It got shut down. But like I said, this is an inspiration for me, because I had to learn how to walk and talk again. And I want people to know that we can still make it. Even though with a person like me with disabilities, I'm still helping and giving back to the community. So it is a privilege to be here on air, because I always want to be on air. Like my grandmother said, Irene Taylor. She told me, this woman right here, she's a superstar. She taught me to be the person that I am. This woman, God bless her soul, she died May the 21st, 2005. And if anybody has a grandmother, you know, our grandmother is a whole to a family. And her nickname was called Bird, because that woman can fry some bird even when it was black. And she tasted good, because we down home country people. And I'm just privileged because I wanted her to know she named me Monica, because off of General Hospital, Monica LaRue, she said one day you're going to be a superstar. And she taught me to be the best person that I am. So tonight, I'm privileged again, and I want you to see just a small segment of that I think I'm going to pursue my next endeavors, to talk real talk with Monica. And hopefully I will be back on the air. So I'm privileged tonight, and I thank you. And please be welcome to call in after you see these interviews, so to spark a little conversation. Because like I said, I'm Monica, and I'm going to be a superstar tonight and be in your home and talk some real talk.
Okay, that's pretty inspirational. We've been talking. You've been telling me about your recent life story and your endeavors now. So, and it sounds like, I guess from what you're saying, you've gone through a lot.
Yes.
And you've been courageous and all, and coming back, to be here today.
Yes.
So after that, that's what's what inspired you to get involved with the veterans in particular?
Okay, what inspired me to be involved with veterans is because where I had worked at, I had a lot of veterans, and they told me stories about them being, when they come back from home, about some of the things that they encounter, about fighting for their benefits, not finding jobs, applying for food stamps. And I learned how to be a good person, learning about veteran, because my father was a veteran. He served the 82nd Airborne, and he nicknamed me Junior 82nd Paratrooper. And he told me about the military is a good place. It teaches you how to be a man. At 18, he learned how to become a man. So when he told me about some of the stories, and he became an advocacy to help people, and along with my grandmother, and my mother was a veteran, and my uncle was a veteran, and I had another uncle who's a veteran, so we got veteran blood in me. So that's why when my father stepped up and be a former Chapter 17 commander, I saw some of these veterans and talked to them, and hear some of the stories about being PTSD, about at one point where they almost want to commit suicide. Hard to find a job when they get home. And we talked about the Vietnam era. And just not the other day, some veterans, when you say military, some people are not strong, and they feel a little disgruntled about the military because they had to do certain missions, but they've only been told what to do. And these are some good men that they want to serve God and country. So they stepped up and did that. And sometimes a lot of people wanted to be in the military to get good jobs. It wasn't good jobs, especially in the African American. My father was in a country area where there wasn't no jobs. So you wanted to step up and go into the military, teach you how to be a man, even though his mother didn't want him to do it. But he wanted to do it and do something right. And it's to get a career and education. You get free education, a lot of people don't know. And so this touched me being a veteran, because I got veteran blood in me.
Okay. You think the government's doing a good enough job taking care of veterans that have gone to combat and have served their country?
Mike, not really. I can say that, but I do know that they take care of some of veterans. Just this week, I went to an event Saturday in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I met one of the top regional managers. And it was over 1,200 some veterans that did not know the status of their claims and new claims. And they stood in line because, like one veteran said, it was African American, it was white American, it was Hispanic, And you're talking about veterans from the Korean War and a widow, and I call her the Raging Cajun #2, an 86-year-old woman. She said, I'm a fighter, baby. Her husband died, and she's fighting over 50 years to get his benefits.
Wow.
50
Yeah, that's
years.
something.
50 years. And she said, I'm 86, and now they ain't going to run me away because I learned how to be a fighter. Even I might not have been in the military, but I'm taking up my husband's cause. And that tells me.
Yeah. So all this in light, I know, I think earlier this year, or again last year, there was some problems with the VA hospitals where they're saying, veterans, they'd have to wait 3 or 4 months. They've been put on the back burner just to get an appointment.
Yes.
And, they were falsifying records and such.
Yes, yes.
So
it's a shame, but that does go on. It does. And and I'm glad that President Obama people finally got the media, and CNN did some reporting, because it takes a lot of courage for even those individuals in that VA hospital that saw the horrors in Phoenix, and they had enough courage to stand up, even though managers and supervisors told them, no, don't say nothing. It takes courage to stand up. So I give anybody that's a whistleblower that want to do right, and that's just one of many stories that President Obama is starting to get his eyes waking up, and even these politicians. And I taught Canvas to one, and when I was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Kay Hagan, we just had the election. This woman was a Democrat.
oh yeah, she lost.
Yeah, she lost. And I had a veteran say the reason that they didn't vote for her because she didn't tell the truth. She said she was going to take care of the claims, but she didn't. And we had a 34-year-old veteran. He got a prosthetic leg. He served in the Iraq War. This man touched me. He could barely stand up. And this man was married, and he has a couple of kids. And he said, I didn't know about this affair. They didn't give me my closing allowance. I can't stand up. I'm only getting 10%. This man has a blown leg or prosthetic. And my father talked to this young man and told him, have you contacted your congressman? He didn't know that. Because sometimes we get to do a service and duty. People don't give us all the correct orders. And then that's okay. But when we get out and we hurt, we got to take care of our veterans because they take care of us.
Okay. You're watching Mike's Variety Hour. The title of this segment is Real Talk with Monica. Give us a call at 915-5202. Hey, if you're a veteran, I'm sure you can relate to what Monica is saying. Give us a call, 915-5202. So you're involved with, with Veterans Affairs. So your father's the 82nd Airborne, and
Yes.
you're, going, looking at good deeds that people do
Yes.
in the neighborhood.
Yes. One of the things that I like to talk about is that it's not getting any publicity or anything, but it's to let people know that Golden Corral, they having veterans, for any veteran that's out there that want to come out and support. On November the 17th, you come on out there, get your free meal. You deserve it. And what they have is at Golden Corral, they had that you can get free meals for people that serve. When I came from North Carolina Saturday, me and my father, we volunteered to raise money for the Chapter 17. It's a good cause. This is a good organization for veterans. Any veterans that want to be activists or want to be in the communities, go to the VA hospital. It's a good chapter, Chapter 17, and other surrounding areas. Go on there, and they have places for counseling. Every Tuesday, I believe, every month, you can meet other veterans. And it's almost like a comfort to talk about some of the gripes or some of the issues, or you want to do some good deeds. Because there's a lot of veterans that's hurting, especially it hurts me when I went up to Washington, D.C., and I see homeless veterans out there with signs. And it pains me because some of them are mentally sick or ill, and and they don't know where to turn to.
Yeah, you figured if anywhere in Washington, D.C., they'd be taken care of, right? I mean, the orders for them to go to war or to deploy, wherever, essentially comes from there.
Yes.
And you got all the politicians and right there within the Beltway.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a shame.
Yeah, no, it
Kind of
is.
stupid. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, but things happen, like
I mean, that they're not being taken care of. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, and things happen, and that's why we got advocacy groups and we got disabled veterans that we need to help. So if you're a vet out there, you need any help and everything, there's places where you can go, find about your benefits. And I want you to think that we don't forget about you, like I said. And I want you to go out and be active and don't be scared to get what's rightfully yours, especially if you've been hurt. You've been, like I said, with this Mr. Gathers man, 70 years old, and he only getting 10%, and he gave his life to this country and served. So, like I said, that's,
Did you want to show that clip of the veteran, since you're talking about him, or?
Yeah, it's a couple of clips that I have. I had some audio feed, but a picture of this man, and he wanted me to make sure that he wanted to get his voice heard.
Okay, how about I put that picture up?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it up there. We'll switch over.
So while Mike is getting that together, I just want to let you know that, like I said, this has been a privilege again to have you in my home. And don't be scared to call, I'm not going to bite you. I want you to just call. If anything other than veterans, we can talk about other issues and other places and things that you want to talk about tonight. Because tonight is about doing good deeds. And like I said, this is a good opportunity for Comcast, and I'm thankful because we have a lot of people that public access and public, and I'm thankful for freedom of speech and to be able to speak out and to get our voices heard, because sometimes the local media and national media don't play certain things. So like I said, it's a privilege to be here today, and thankful for Comcast having this public access network, because this is a wonderful outlet for people to stand and to see about getting real issues out here in this community. And like I said, it's just been a privilege tonight, and I'm already excited because I feel a turnaround for good deeds to start happening, even in the capital city of Richmond. Now, the picture that you have is a picture of my father and the World War II vet, and I was not privileged to get his name.
World War II, wow.
Yeah, World War II veteran. We was at the Olive Garden, and he was proud. He still was kicking and driving, and people stopped him to shake his hand. And I said, it brought a tear to my eye that this man at World War II, he could tell you some stories, and he can tell you about life. So that's about this man. He's just one of the men that we had took a picture of, and it was wonderful to see this vet and to see that he's still walking and talking, and he loved the military. So, like I said, you see my father on the left and that World War II veteran, and see that's my father representing the 82nd Airborne, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and that's where I'm going to go down there to visit him with my little nephew, because he likes to go airborne when he was a baby. He said, Auntie, I want to go airborne. And my sister was like, I don't know, but my daddy said, we're going to take you down there and see how these guys do things. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty enlightening.
Yes. So I don't know if we got time. Did you want to put the footage up of the African American guy that's 28? So that does.
Yeah, we have time for that.
Yeah.
From the affair of Winston-Salem?
No, Mr. Salem is the guy was from the 70-year-old vet, Mr. Gaithers. But do you want to do the interview with the young guy?
Yeah, we do that one. We got plenty of time.
Okay, hey, we got plenty of time. I'm
You're
excited.
talking about the veterans there. We'll get
Yeah,
the other veterans.
yeah, we
We'll
get
show
the
you
other
that- Show
veterans.
you that clip, some live footage that Monica captured.
Yes, the 70-year-old veteran in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And like I said, it was thousands of people were standing up in line. And they said at 4:30 in the morning, the day before the event, Friday night, people were standing up to stand in to find out why their claims was backed up and filing new appeals and new claims. And I met a lot of good veterans there, and it brought tears to my eye. And one veteran said, I shook his hand, and he told me, I said, thank you for your service. He said, you know what he said? He said, young lady, that's all I wanted to hear, and a tear came across his eye. So that makes you feel good. Just telling somebody thank you for your service. Whether you going to the restaurant, a waitress, a cashier, tell somebody thank you. You'd be surprised what people can do. A smile on their face. So like I said, is that, and I have met some other good people. But I'm sorry, this raw footage, this is iPhone. When you have iPhone, you know, you only could tape so much. But it's just to show you how people were standing in line that want to get their benefits. And I'm going to see if I can talk to our local politician here to see can we get a fair set up here. And some of our commanders here in Chapter 17 have told me that we're going to see can we get some politicians on board to do a job affair. And so that's why I said we're going to see that we can do, get our politicians. We don't have to drive to North Carolina like me and my father did for 3.5 hours to get a status on that claim. We're going to see can we get some politicians here to have a fair like in North Carolina, to see can we find out veterans' claims that have been behind and let veterans know about filing a new claim. So like I said, that you'll be amazed of, and it was almost like a peaceful segment.
I wish they had this spot. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I came up here this 5 o'clock. That line was already out there, 5 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah. And the guy told me he spent the night. He came all the way from New Bern, North Carolina, spent the night.
Wow.
See, when you get people like this and they trying to find out about something, they should make it weird. You get mad about it. You gotta be patient. They don't have patience. And I say to myself, you know what? I spent 30 years in the military and you waited all this long. Yeah. You might as well wait a little bit longer. 30-something years, a long time. I would have stayed in longer, but my wife got tired of my wife just dropped me off. She said, I'm going back home. I'll see you sometime tonight there. She's going to the golf course. Right. Yeah. I've been married to that woman for 47 years. I've been trying to get rid of her, but she's working the sea. But the thing about it, she's a mother of my 14 children.
All right.
She said,
Okay. See, that's just a small segment of video, but that man, even though we were standing in line for 2.5 and 3 hours, this man, as I told you, just a small glimpse, Mr. Gaither, he said, we can wait in line, we can be patient. I waited 30 years, I'm going to wait some more. And this man, it was like he brought a full of life and joy. This man has had 14 children, and he just showed you right there that he, even in a long line, we still waited. And he still brought a lot of joy and laughter. He said, like he said, we're not going to get upset. He said, we waited for 30 years. He calmed, you know what? He calmed the place down because it was some angry vets that said, why they got us waiting long? And he came peaceful in there. He said, man, he calmed down. See that one police officer in the back? And you got a group of over 1,000 some veterans that wanted to know about their status. Mr. Gather said, calm down. He said, he stopped it. He called peace. He brought laughter and joy. And he turned this man turned a segment that could have been a riot with angry vets. You see how he brought laughter and joy? He made me laugh and put a smile on my face. He told those vets, guys, stop being angry. We gonna get what's entitled. The government gonna treat us right because now they listening to us. And he said, I've been trying to get rid of my wife for 47 years. I can't get rid of her. And like he said, because he keeps laughter. And this was one of the guys that's been shot 9 times and been at 22 combats. He had bronze stars and purple stars. But guess what? He didn't get mad about the government. This man had waited over 30-some years. He was only getting 10%. 10%. And he said, that's okay. They just recently upped it to 65%. And he said, we're going to get it 100%. He's calmed them veterans down with laughter. And it was a privilege. And he was wonderful. He had some spunk at 70 years old.
Yeah.
He could have been angry. You didn't hear that. He wasn't angry. You see all those people lined up, and you see the police officers, one police officer. We can do peaceful things.
Yeah, because you got a passion for this.
Yes.
How many people do you know, are going to go spend all that time, listening to veterans, complain? I mean, a lot of people say they could be doing something else.
Yes.
So where do you see what you're trying to do? Where do you see this going?
I have gotten with a couple other veterans within the organization for the Disabled American Veteran. I actually, one time before I got sick and ill, I was doing the Disabled Women's Auxiliary. Mm-hmm. And what happened was, I've always been an advocate with my father. We do events to try to raise money for veterans at the Golden Corral when they have things for the community. And I used to listen to how my father tell me stories, and that gave me, and then were you saying where I might want to go with this? Yeah. I inspired a 4-time Vietnam era vet named Mr. Mack. And what he wanted to do is he wants a passion to look into other things for veterans. And so he wanted me to get together with him, and I told him about the show tonight. And I told him about he wants to get together with some other veterans. And I talked to another vet that was in Desert Storm, and he wants to see if we can get with politician Mr. Forbes. Because Mr. Forbes, what I heard, and I have seen some of his action, Mr. Forbes, he's around the Fort Lee congressman. He really, and what I heard, a lot of good things about the veterans. And he's a Republican. And one vet told me this. He said, over my dead body, will I let Fort Lee get closed? Because this man knows about veterans, and he knows to take care of his veterans. And hopefully I can set up that appointment with the individual that has a contact with Mr. Forbes' office and see can we get another fair going. So this is I feel expired.
That's good. You mentioned Fort Lee. That's really expanded.
Yes.
These last couple of years, they got a lot of training there. People from different parts of the country, learn about different, military techniques and such.
Right. Right. So like I said, like I said, you got a lot of good politicians, and some of them former veterans that knows about the struggle, and it makes you feel good when politicians hear you and hear the cry, because like I said, is that it's a good thing to serve the military, because somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I don't know if anybody looks at PBS. They did a story about the Navy SEALs, Untold Story. It was a good show on PBS, and it told us about the history about the Navy SEALs, how they was in combat, and they did about the making of them and how they was developed and how they was used in certain wars and certain tactics. And as you know, the Team SEAL 6.
Yeah, one of the guys, they're pressing charges against him for exposing secrets that he wrote in a book. These are the guys that went in and took out Osama bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and another thing is that a lot of people don't know Team SEAL 6. I mean, I have a different opinion about that. Like I said, generals write books and stuff, but like my father explained to me is that some things needs to be top secret, especially where you got vets and doing missions. And I found out that Team 6 is a command force used by President Obama. So if the president, and thank God they did that. I think we got a caller here.
Hey, we got a call. Hey, welcome to Mike's Variety Hour. You're here with Real Talk with Monica. How's it going?
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
All right.
Great. You know, you never posted on the TV. I've been dying to call in.
Oh, they didn't post the number. Hey, you guys, put the number up.
The number.
915-5202. We got a regular caller there who remembered it.
Right. I had to go dig in my old tape CD and find the number and everything. But anyway, Monica, how are you tonight?
Oh, hi. How you doing? Nice speaking with you. And
There
your
we
name?
go. Thanks.
And what's your
Great.
name?
You know what? I've listened to TV. I got to turn all the way down.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
throwing me
turn it
off.
down. Okay.
Got any-
I want to commend you, and honey, God just wasn't ready for you. Want your time when you were sick, honey, because
Yes.
he ain't through with you. But you're doing too many good things for this world,
Yes.
and I want to commend you and everything, and a good recovery and all that.
Yes.
And I myself went through a health situation, and I had a hard time getting myself back together and everything. But
Yes.
you know, you look like you're doing wonderful. You're doing wonderful things for the community, and I commend you and the veterans. And that's an excellent program to work with and stuff. And my father was a veteran.
Oh, what service did he serve?
He was in the Army. He had a Purple Heart.
Oh, right. He was in
He said
combat.
the troops was his little unit would sleep, and he woke everybody up because they were being attacked. So if he hadn't woken up and heard, they would have died. His little unit would have died. But he's the one that woke up and heard and started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, he had a Purple Heart for that. Yeah.
Well,
and everything. So,
and you know what? And you know what? I'm glad you called, and I'm sorry that the number was not up earlier. Because, like I said, this live TV, sometimes we have little hoops in there, but guess what? We're going to make it all right. And,
That's right.
But you know what? I want to thank you for calling because I still suffer with some conditions. But guess what? Even with some conditions, like even some of these veterans told me, we can still go out here and do good. And I'm glad to hear from another daughter that had a veteran. It feels good that you called and share that.
Well, you know, I went crazy trying to find the number because this is a great show that he's doing tonight with you.
Yes.
It's very inspirational to me, and I'm sure others have been dying to call in. Because when you start talking, it's I got to call.
Yeah.
I've been for the last 20 minutes and dig out the CD.
Yeah, I know.
With everything, because you know, I know we've got things to say to you.
Yes.
And you are an awesome person, and keep on keeping on.
You know
That's
what?
The world go around. People
You know
like
what? You're awesome for telling me that because you're making me feel good. And I love
You're
it.
a good person. You are
Yeah.
a good person.
Thank
You know,
you.
people understand. I volunteered in the school system for years and years.
Yes.
People understand the heart of a volunteer.
Yes. And some
They don't
people don't have
understand
a
how to
heart.
volunteer.
And some people don't
You know?
have a heart. It's sometimes we have a selfishness. But I'm thankful that God had came into my life and he saved me and he came in my room. And I'm glad that I'm trying to give back because I made a promise to God and myself and my grandmother that I'm going to do right. So I'm glad that you
Obviously,
called.
he knew your heart, honey. It's
Yes.
obviously he knew your heart. Because he wants you, he said, I can't let her go no way. She got too much work to do.
Yes.
She's a good person. But if you ever need help volunteering, I give Mike my information.
Okay.
And I like to volunteer and stuff. I don't drive and stuff, but he knows who I am.
Okay.
But I'll be happy to. I love to volunteer.
Oh, I love it. We love that. See how this show is? We got good deeds and volunteering.
All
That's
right.
right. That's right. If you ever need any help, you just Mike can contact me.
I sure will. Thank you again.
Well, I'm not going to tie the line up. I should want to call in. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. You have a wonderful night. Thank you.
You too, dear. Thank you for
Dave,
calling.
thank you, caller.
Bye-bye.
That's great. You know, you inspired, you know, that caller talked about her father being in the military, you know, about some of the challenges that she's had in her life and overcoming those.
Right.
Yeah, so what else are you doing? What else are you doing in the community? So you're you know, we always hear about bad stuff in
Yes,
the news
yes,
every day.
yes.
So we, you know, you highlighting some of the good things. What's some of the good things? Some of the people that you've met in the area.
I have met a lot of good people in the area. I I have met, oh, here we go. Why
Yeah,
you
you know,
say
'cause-
anything is Rodney Road. That's
You know-
live TV.
Welcome to Mike's Variety Hour. How's it going?
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
How are you?
Okay, how's it going?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm calling to talk to Monica because I saw her at her worst state. And she's looking wonderful and beautiful. And
Yeah, she is.
God is good all the time. And this
Yeah.
is E.W. Fleming Ross.
I know that voice.
Oh,
You're doing a good job. You look wonderful. And you know, thanks for letting people know that the disservice that the military and the government has done, you know.
Yes.
So,
Well, no, let me tell you a little bit of story, and hopefully if I get on, I'm going to have another show, and I'm going to have you on. Mr. Fabulous Fleming has always done things in the community, and he not too long ago is battling certain conditions and stuff, and he has went through, and we even talk, and it's almost like a consolement, and he has done a lot of good deeds, and I'm so glad that he called because he inspired me when I was in my down and out stage. He's not too long ago still battling some of his conditions. And he dressed up fabulous, and he told me, be fabulous. Even when you're sick, you never let them let you know you look bad. So I was crying at some point, and he said, wipe them tears out. To be a fabulous diva, you got to look like the picture. Even though you're hurting inside and feeling pain, you got to be camera ready.
all right.
And thank you again.
Love you, Monica.
I
Thank
love
you, Mike.
hey, thanks, caller. Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey, you're watching Mike's Variety Hour. This segment, Real Talk with Monica, talking about good deeds that people do in the community, advocating for veterans. Give us a call, join the conversation, 915-5202. So we're talking again, we know with recent elections and all, people,
Yes.
focusing on politicians and people, they seem to forget about the real people,
Yes.
just the regular people, and like you
Yes.
you walk around the corner, there's people everywhere.
Yes.
And they have their daily challenges, they have, their story. What is it that you're seeing? And often not times they don't get credit for anything.
Yes, and that's true. Even some of the struggles within my own family, filing for benefits within the government, you have some discouragement, and but sometimes you got to go through that discouragement and stand up. And people would, and let me tell you this, and I'm not exposing anything or taking anything out, but let me tell you, the Chesterfield Social Services. I had a situation with one of my family members, and somebody made a mistake. And then the manager said, let me go and research, and he called back, and he corrected it. And I said, thank you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
It's like we got another caller.
Okay.
Caller, how you doing? Welcome to Mike's Variety Hour.
Good evening. This is the fabulous Felicia Joyner, and Monica is a good friend of mine. Y'all good looking great on the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was there from the beginning when Monica had gotten sick. Actually, I really saved her life. I had to dress her and get her to the hospital because we really had to see what was going on. She was really sickly.
Yes.
But she's looking fabulous now.
Well, I'm hurting in the inside and feeling some pain when I have my good days. But let me tell you about this Felicia Joyner. She's a good friend of mine, and she's a local business owner, and she does nails, and she's thinking about doing a school. And this woman, I called her at a point in my life that where I didn't know what to do. I knew I was dying. And this woman, I called her just like that, and she stepped in, and she dressed me. She took me to the hospital. And this woman even facing certain challenges herself, but she thought enough of me to save me. And I love it because sometimes with friends, and I want y'all to let y'all know that sometimes when you have friends, you might have some disagreements. But guess what? A real friend gonna stay around. And she stepped in, and we not too long ago had a disagreement. We repaired our, and guess what? She saved my life. And I thank her every day because I'm truly blessed. Truly blessed. Truly blessed. And I thank you, friend, for calling and supporting me. Because, like I said, you're going to be soon on your show. I believe you said, what, Friday? You're going to be on?
Yes, Friday.
Do you know what time?
Probably the same time.
Same time? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and like I said, I'm thankful to have a good friend like you. And like I tell anybody, if you don't have a good friend, a good mother and father that's still around, you're blessed. And like I said, you know, sometimes when you have disagreements, and I'm glad that you called in to support me because you know I support you. And you've been a blessing to me, and I tell you that all the time. You have.
Yeah, you sure do.
And I
you know
love
I had
it.
to call and support you.
I know you do, and I'm glad you did because, like I tell you, you a superstar. You tell me all the time.
That's right.
And
you are definitely camera ready, girlfriend.
Well, thank you, because I learned from the best. Who was here first?
That's right.
Okay, then you gave me coaching. Before I got on the air, you gave me some coaching. You said, look into that camera.
Them eyebrows looking fabulous.
Well, you always hook me up. Look, even though I ain't got a dime in my pocket, my friend said, come on down here.
That's right.
You're looking
That's
bad.
right.
What you told me. You don't let me look out the house looking bad because you saw me at my worst. You told me that.
That's right.
And you gonna, as a friend, you're going to tell me when I don't look good and when I
That's
don't.
right. That's what friends are for.
That's right. And that's like that song Dionne Warwick said. That's what friends are for. Now, I can't sing that. Earl Fleming got to get on there singing.
Okay, well, I'm not going to hold the line up.
Okay, thank you, Felicia. Now we're going to play the young African-American Calvin at 28 years old that I want to show a video feed.
He had full of spirit and inspiration that make me want to interview and get our youth today to see what's going on with our community and see how can we uplift our African American young youth to see can we get them involved in politics and tell exactly what's going on with our community here in the local area of Richmond, Virginia. Let's introduce him. How you doing, Mr. Calvin? All right. I'm just going to ask you a few brief questions in regards to a little bit about yourself and about what do you see some of the plights of the African Americans dealing with. Okay, tell the viewers, how old are you?
28 years old. 28-year-old, hardworking African American from Southside Richmond. School right now to further my education as a dental assistant.
Okay, what school do you go to?
J. Sergeant Reynolds.
Okay, J. Sergeant Reynolds. Are you on financial aid?
Yes.
Okay, financial aid.
Yes.
Okay. Another question is you raised by a single parent?
Yes, I was.
Okay, yes. Was it by a father or mother?
My mother.
Mother, okay. Another question is that I'd like to ask, do you see the single parent home, was that kind of a factor in some of your decision making?
I think it is for a lot of youth now because with the father not in the home, it kind of affects the child growing up.
Right.
Mainly because what happens in that is because the father's not in the home.
Yes.
The mother tries to be the father.
Yes.
And, and some may say, well, yeah, I could be the mother and the father, but in reality she can't because there's certain things that he has to learn from a man that she can't teach him.
Exactly.
So what I think the problem with that is right now there's a lot of fatherless homes.
Okay. Did your mother have to work multiple jobs?
Yeah, my mom did. She worked multiple jobs. And mainly my siblings, but just babysit us while she worked multiple jobs.
Wow. Another question is, this is the day after the poll results, and I had already asked you personally, did you go and vote?
I didn't get around to voting, but I think it's very important right now.
Okay.
Like, especially now, it's very, very, very important because there's a lot of changes going on, especially with African.
Right. Okay, now in speaking with that, this was part of my show that I was going to do some research and study to see that a lot of youth that I saw in the polling that I saw last night, the youth did not vote this time around because we noticed that the polling. Did you vote last time when President Obama was on the ticket? You were on the voting day?
I don't remember. I don't recall, but I think I might have.
Okay, did some of your friends got inspired to vote?
Yeah, a few of my friends have.
Okay. Now, if you're thinking into politics, what would you consider yourself to be? A Republican, Democrat, Independent? If you did vote yesterday?
I would consider myself more of a Democrat. Mainly because I'm for, I'm not with the whole, just trying to, I believe everybody has a voice, and opinion is not bad to have an opinion.
Yes.
I mean, that's what America is.
Yes.
I can listen to you, but I know I have to agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I say Democrat mainly just because of that reason.
Okay. Now, if what would you want a leader to be? If you want to get you out there to vote, what kind of leader would you vote for?
I would vote for
No, that's speaking with President Obama because he's getting ready to get out of office soon in 2016. But what type of leader would you vote for? Like what kind of things that you want if you was to, when you go into that voting box, what type of leader would you consider characteristics that you would like to have to lead this country?
Well, first and foremost is a leader that, I know is not really off a card, that I know is 100% for the people.
Yes.
You have to be for the people because we are the voices. And a leader that's not afraid to stand behind what he says.
Exactly.
Without the influence of someone in the Congress or in the office.
Exactly. And you know what, Calvin, you speak on that note because that's the type of leader I like.
Yeah.
And I've seen that we and you have some similarities.
Yeah.
We want our leaders to be honest.
Yeah,
we want our leaders to tell us the truth. Even if we don't like it. We want our leaders to go in there and do a job. That's what we vote them to do. And right here and there, and hopefully my show and maybe further along this movement that I got, we want to hold people accountable because that's what we put them in office to. Just like you work at your job, don't your boss give you rules and regulations to follow? If not, what your boss will tell you to do. Your services are no longer needed.
That's right. That's right. It's like, you're expendable.
Exactly.
And I think that's a problem with the whole politics thing is some people, they feel they can't stand up for what they believe or say what they want because of the backlash.
Exactly.
They got certain people in their ear and in their back pockets. So
yes.
They have to be mindful of what they say. So
yes.
I think that's what we really miss.
We need some real talk. That's what I think we need.
Yeah.
But one more question to get back on that on your issue. As you're working this job, do you feel like that the minimum wage debate is coming up? Would you like to have a little bit more money in your pocket?
I think, yeah, of course I would. Minimum wage it's not really going to get you too far.
Yes.
In this country, I mean, the state of Virginia, I know for sure. So I think they really have to increase the minimum wage just so people get back. Because I know some people's working at least 2 jobs just to get by.
And another thing that I like to commend you as being able to be on camera and speak so vocal is that you are a person that wants to do right. And I think that our leaders and our congressmen and our presidents, even Attorney General, hope to need to see that we got young youth that's trying to do the right thing. But if we increase the minimum wage and put them in programs and develop some things to keep our youth from not being in the jail systems, then you can be like you getting on camera. You can be a vocal and say, look, Let Mr. Calvin, he's 28 years old. He works at Food Line and he's trying to be the better person he can be. Because that's what we need to have.
That's right.
And you are the face, hopefully, to inspire others not to do wrong. Because what we talked about in the car, once we get a scrape against us, people look at us different, right?
Yeah, they do. That's where the labels come in.
Yes.
They just put a label on it.
But young man, I just want to say thank you. And I saw you as being an inspirational person when I went in Food Line, because I felt that spirit and that you need to be on camera to speak to the youth and speak to the American and the politician that, hey, we need to put this man in the booth and he's going to make some changes.
Yeah, that's right.
And thank you again, young man. Thank you for your time. Again, we keep on showing good deeds. That's what we need in this country.
Yes, I hope y'all enjoyed this small segment I did with Calvin, an interview. And as you can see, this man, 28 years old, he taught Canvas, and he was wonderful to hear, to speaking from a youthful voice. He was honest. He didn't vote, but he said what type of leader he would like. And he talked about trying to do right, even in a single family home. And then he also talked about the minimum wage and the labor debate that just come up. So when we have our House, Senate, local leaders about debating on whether or not we should make the minimum wage higher, I think we should. Because there's a lot of people that's out here that's still struggling. And I didn't have a chance to interview this other young lady, but she was a waitress, and she told me she works 2 jobs. So as I said, so what we're going to do is get into another segment, until hopefully we have this open segment, and hopefully you enjoyed that interview with that young African-American young youth, and it can inspire movement, because he touched me and it made me feel good as a person to talk Canvas and to tell our politicians, if you want to get the youth back in voting and get them vocalized like President Obama did when he first got elected, to get the youth back going, that's what this young man talked about, characteristics. And we need to have good, positive characteristics. Okay, the next segment I'm going to do is a guy named Calvin Duck Tran. He was a local businessman that has 2 nail salons, and he had worked in around 2000, I would say about 2000, I have known him, and he had did this video. And what I wanted to show is him.
Okay.
Hi, this is Monica Ball. What I'm going to do a story about is about this gentleman here at Lady Nails, that I was one of his customers. And as I've said, it's a segment about doing good deeds and paying back to the community. This owner, he has not only have been good to me, he has been good to my family, my mother, and my sister. So I wanted to do a story about how this man that I want to introduce, what you're going to learn and find out how he does a wonderful job keeping my nails done, and my feet is not done right now. But when I do get my service done, he has some of the most wonderful people that he has in his shop. So I want to do an interview with him. And let's introduce this wonderful owner of Lady Nails.
My name is Kevin. I'm one of Lady Nails since 2006. I'm doing a good business. Then I start my business. I'm doing great right now. I'm taking care of my family, all my customers, nobody the most. And I'm doing here very good every day. And right now I'm at another shop in the south side. It's called Walmart in Forest Hill.
Okay, where is the exact location of the store?
Sealand and the Walmart Forest Hill. That's my workshop. She take care of us right now, and I'm taking care of this one. We're doing this so far, and doing good in business.
Kevin, tell me, how long have you been in this area right here?
I've been in this area almost 10 years.
10 years? Okay. What type of clientele that you have? Is it multiple?
I have more kind of customer. See, come here, got most manicure, pedicure, eyebrow, and some pretty service.
Well, did they tell you you're one of the best?
Yes, thank you. That's the part I have. That's why I last longer for 10 years.
This right here is Kevin's price list that he has for his services right here. Kevin, what would you say the most popular thing that most Americans get done to get their nails? Like, do they get a full set or a shellacking?
Yeah, the most time you get the full set and pedicure, but right now they have the new products right here, like select gel polish. This one may last long for whoever who want to wear the product. Wear the real name, color lasts longer up to 3 weeks. I also have the new merchandise that come in yesterday. It's a hot color right here is just coming yesterday. It's a new sample for the select polish. This one will last longer too. Whoever want the service come to myself, they can take care of it. The new merchandise coming yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I call it 108 polish. I just bought it.
Let's take a look at some of the things that he does.
Yes. That's what you had listened to is what I had just a brief segment since we're running out of time. That was Kevin, and he was a good owner, and he has his second shop at 2515 Sheila Nails, and he is a nail 2K, and he's one of the guys that helped me when I was sick, and I've been doing. So like I said.
So you got people, you got good interview with
Yes.
Calvin and Kevin, people doing good in the community there.
Yes.
Well, you've watched this segment, Real Talk with Monica on Mike's Variety Hour. Stay tuned for next week. Monica, it was a pleasure having you on the show there. We hope to see you again.
Thank you.